3 officers, 1 member of the public, and again it's the public that's having to teach the officers how to do their job. You'd think by now the basics would be locked in. Public space, private property, lawful authority. But what you're about to watch is a familiar pattern. Discomfort gets treated though it's law, and law gets treated like a suggestion. Because apparently, if enough people get upset or uncomfortable, or just generally feel uneasy, that now replaces legislation. And right here, outside the police station, of all places, that idea gets tested and quietly dismantled.
Hello, sir.
All right.
I've asked one of my uniformed colleagues to come and speak to you, just to see if you engage differently with somebody who's more identifiable as a police officer.
Hello,
I've spoken to PC 137 and advised them that we have asked you to leave the curtilage of what we deem to be the private property, and we're giving you reasonable time in which to do that.
Okay.
And I'll just reiterate that the reason why we've asked you to leave is because we've had complaints that your behaviour is making people feel uncomfortable.
Well,
Notice I've rephrased it there that I'm not using the word distress, which you took obsession to, and I wouldn't. That's not what's been reported. It's made people feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
So the opening move is simple. The officers do not start with a clear legal power. They start with a feeling. People feel uncomfortable. That's the foundation. Not obstruction, not breach of the peach, not breach of the peach, for once. Not any defined offence, just discomfort. And then when that doesn't land, they escalate. Bringing another officer. Switch the approach. Try a different uniform. As if authority works like a change of costume. But here's where it flips. Because instead of compliance, they meet resistance. Grounded in reasoning, calm, direct, and just a little bit sarcastic. And then that's where things start to unravel. Take a look.
So now your job is for 3 constables to stand around and try to enforce people's discomfort and feelings over the law.
I've explained. I'm going to go now, because if you feel uncomfortable about 3 people being here, that's fine. And
it doesn't matter if there are 10 people here.
We're trying a different approach to see whether that's
PC
agreeable with you.
137. PC 137. I'll suggest just getting your car and drive away. You're not going to get any more response out of me than you are than they are.
That's absolutely fine.
The uniform does not intimidate me any more than your plain clothes does. Oh, is it not? No. That's funny.
People feel more comfortable.
Yeah. Funny that, because the psychology behind it says different. If you actually look at Ash's studies from the 70s, his studies on compliance and uniform actually state the opposite.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm actually a psychologist. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, like you said, you sort of intimated that you took exception to there being three police officers here. So I'm going to leave because
go for it. You do what you want to do.
More to say to you. But yeah, we'll leave you in police capable hands. All right.
I love that. Detective sergeant's got to get a PC to handle his dirty work.
Look, I just want to make you as comfortable as possible. So I'll introduce myself as PC 137. I've had no idea as to what this incident is about. What's going on here?
Well, I'm sure they've just informed you of that over at the car when you were stood there talking for 10 minutes.
Well, I've got a rough idea, but I'd like to hear it from you. As I say, I'm completely unbiased.
I'm here minding my own business. I come and get accosted by 2 constables.
Okay. Any reason police station compared to anywhere else?
Because we pay for it and I can.
Okay, that's fair enough. It is a public property, isn't it?
Thank you very much. If only they knew that.
What I'll say is that obviously the inquiry office isn't open. So
yeah, I know. I already tried to go in there. Yeah.
Have a chat. They do close at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I just want to make you aware that I'm not suggesting that you will at all, but certainly we have had cars damaged here in the past, and that's why when we see somebody sat here with a camera, just sometimes people don't have as good intentions as yourself. Okay. So
do you stop everybody with a camera in any place in the country then, just because they got a camera? Because cars get damaged all over the country, not just here.
Particularly because we work in a role where a lot of people don't necessarily.
I wouldn't bring your vehicle to work then if you're that worried about it.
But obviously we've got to get here somehow.
Yeah, you can cycle it. You can get public transport.
Okay.
You can get public. If you don't live in Huntingdon, you can get public transport to Huntingdon and then walk or cycle it. There are options. You know, if you're that uncomfortable and that concerned about your vehicles at your place of work because of the role that you do, and the mitigating factor is the fact that you know the risks of the role that you take when you sign up for the job. Yeah. That onus is on you.
Okay, that's fair enough.
As simple as that.
Do you have any further plans this evening? Is that something you want?
Well, you want to take me for dinner?
No, not at all.
No?
I'm just generally trying.
I won't eat you out of house and home.
Oh really?
No. Just the Mackies will do me.
No worries. Are you planning on being here long at all?
As long as it takes.
As long as it takes to what though? What is your intention?
Finish my objectives.
And what is your objectives out of interest?
Private.
They might be private. I'm interested because you've definitely got obviously my interest right now. So I just want to know what your objectives are.
Fair enough. And you're allowed to have those interests.
Have you got friends coming to join with you with your objectives, or?
Sorry, I think a bug go down my top. Oh. Sorry.
Got any friends coming down to join you or anything?
No, I don't have any friends. Billy no mates me. Oh, I know, it's sad, isn't it? You want to be my mate?
I don't know. Yeah.
No. Didn't think so.
If I'm honest, I've got so many friends. I'm not really in the market for anymore.
Fair enough. So,
do you mind me asking, is this one of the Audit in Britain sort of style videos? I'm not suggesting you are at all, just out of curiosity, because we know that there are auditors about. I'm just trying to gain what your kind of objective is.
We might put our mind at ease.
Well,
you ain't here to cause any problems within our grounds.
Again, my objectives are private, and I will stick to the fact that I have the human right to my private thoughts and my private home and family life, and I will stick with that.
What I would say is that cameras obviously pointing in the general direction of there are vehicles, personal and police, going in and out. Obviously, you're aware that there are traffic cars which come out of here pretty speedily. We wouldn't want you to be around and potentially get hurt.
Oh, so I'm decided to wooden barrier. I actually like that you've got this. This wasn't here last time I came. This whole footpath and I had to walk along the road, so I like that you've included this.
What I would say as well is the officers, my colleagues, who are very good at their job, have tried to be polite, and they've just asked that in a reasonable time frame, about 10 minutes, you just go towards the outside of the site. Now, what I would suggest, as somebody who I haven't looked at all the planning permissions and the exact boundaries of this building, I don't work at this station, but I would generally say probably up to that fence line up there and probably up to where that give way line is would probably be a rough area, I would say, is HQ. So
Right, so we'll pause here. What you're seeing isn't really confrontation, it's a clash of frameworks. One side, people feel uncomfortable, you should leave. On the other, you've got, well, show me the law that tells me I have to. And notice what's missing. No clear statutory power being cited. No defined boundary confirmed. Just approximations. Guesses. Oh, and probably up to that fence line. Probably. Since when did policing become a game of educated guesswork? And then comes that quiet moment that says everything. A constable openly acknowledges that it's public space, public property, and you cannot enforce feelings on public land. There is no offence of making somebody feel slightly uneasy. If there was, half the country would be under investigation by lunchtime. And credit where credit's due, because the tone stays measured, but the points land clean. When they suggest that cameras are suspicious, the response is simple. So do you stop everyone with a camera everywhere? Because if that logic holds, tourists would need legal representation before they even could hit record. Then there's the safety angle. We wouldn't want you to get hurt. A classic. Concern suddenly appears right after the authority doesn't stick. It's less about safety and just finding something that works. And his humour cuts through it perfectly. Are you taking me out for dinner? Because when you're not scared of authority and that fear has diminished or just gone altogether, what's left just starts to sound a little bit awkward.
When you move on, if you could just move on outside of that,
I mean,
it would make us feel more comfortable.
I would say, quite honestly, with the PC137, that these double yellow lines are indicative of something that the council have instilled. Double yellow lines don't typically tend to be put on private property, so I would say probably up to where the double yellow line stop is where I would be absolutely fine to be accessible and be classed as public property.
So what did we actually watch just then? It wasn't defiance, it wasn't disorder. Just a reminder that authority doesn't come from numbers or a uniform or persistence. It comes from law, and without it there's nothing to enforce. And once again, it's not the officers explaining the boundaries, it's a member of the public drawing them. Because in situations like this, I would suggest that it's not a case of why won't he leave, it's why are they asking him to leave without any powers to make him? And until somebody can answer that question properly, these conversations are just going to keep happening. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.